Hello everyone, it's Biggie here with the King of Arms channel. So today I wanted to do something a little different. I thought we'd do a cleaning video. So today I'm going to show you how to clean a Glock17, and this model happens to be a Gen 3, but this method should work for your Gen 1 to 4s. I don't own a 5 yet, so I'm not positive, but I'm sure it's probably pretty similar. So if you guys will join me at the tabletop, we'll go ahead and get this cleaning video started. Hello everyone, and welcome to my Glock17 cleaning video. Now, if you're wondering why I have so much stuff laid out, we're not going to need all of this. I just wanted to show you a few products I use. So one of my favorites is actually this stuff called Ballistol. This stuff's amazing. You can literally use it on everything. Firearms, leather, knives, rubber, wood. I mean, I use this for everything. It makes wood look really nice and shiny. It keeps your guns working great, rust-free, cleans them really well. So this is one of my all-time favorites. Now something newer I've been playing with is actually this Lucas oil products. This here cleans the powder and the fire ring residue. Then you also have your basic spray-on CLP, which just cleans, lubricates and protects, of course. You also have a bore solvent and an ultrasonic cleaner solution. And then of course you just have your plain old extreme duty gun oil. So there's just a few products I've been playing with recently. So I went over some of the gun cleaners themselves and lubricants. Now some of the things we might want to use. So my favorite thing to use is actually a bore snake. I just think these are the fastest and the easiest to clean barrels. But there's also other methods. There's the old school, just normal rod. This one actually has something to protect your bore on it. And then there's also the old school style bore snake. These are amazing as well. I just recently switched over to the Otis bore snakes, but these are still a great option. And then some of the other things I like to use, of course you need some cleaning patches. I like to have just some sort of nylon brush. And then also I like to have a plastic picking tool just to get into some of those tight spaces. And then some of these little pointy Q-tips. I believe these are actually for applying makeup. I found these on Amazon. These are awesome for cleaning handguns and rifles for that matter. And then one other thing I like to use is just a chamber light so I can see down the barrel. Make sure everything's nice and spotless. And then as for brushes for the barrel, I've recently switched over to these nylon brushes, but you can still use your normal bronze brushes if you like. I just really like these nylon brushes because they scrub hard enough to get the stuff out, but they won't damage your barrel. Alright guys, so let's get into this cleaning. So the first thing we want to do is make this gun clear. This one's actually hot because I keep it beside my bed. So we'll get that out the way. Make sure that's empty. There you go. So she's safe. So the first thing we got to do is we got to take the slide off. So we're going to go ahead and pull back on the slide just about a 1/4 inch. Release the slide release lever, and we'll slide that off. So the first thing I'm going to start with is actually the slide. So we're going to put the lower end out of the way. So we got to get out the recoil spring. We got to pull out the barrel. Come on, barrel. Pop out. There we go. And then we have the actual slide itself. Right where the striker goes, you don't have to clean in there super often. You only have to clean in there if it's really dirty. But if you look at my disassembly video, you can see how to pull that apart and actually get in there. And then it's super easy to clean. You just kind of wipe it off and put it back together. You don't want any kind of lubricant to get inside of the striker housing because it'll just make it build up dirt faster. So the only thing you want to put lubricant on is just right there, that surface there. And then I usually put a little dab right there on the striker safety. Alright, so the first step, we want to take our CLP. And what I like to do is just kind of spray the barrel down a little bit. Just get it soaking. And then some people won't do this on a Glock. They like to keep it dry. But me, I'm going to spray in there with a little CLP as well. And then after that, I like to take my brush, get it focused, and I like to come in here and just scrub the rails out real good. Basically clean in here, get all the dirt, all the muck, all the buildup out of here. Right here on the chamber face, you want to get that clean right here on the chamber face. So you want to get that nice and clean because it builds up a lot of carbon. So we'll just scrub that. Same thing with the ejector. We'll go ahead and scrub her real good. And then we're going to get this other rail. Yeah, so that's basically all you have to do for the inside. Then we'll just have to wipe it out. I'm going to hold off on that because I forgot to grab a rag. So we're just going to set the upper side to the side. And then we're going to work on the barrel. So my favorite method is actually the bore stake method. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our bore snake. We're going to run it down the barrel. You always want to go from the end of the barrel, or the breech of the barrel, not the actual muzzle end, because you can mess up the crowning on your muzzle and it can affect your accuracy. So you want to stick that through. And then the nice thing about these bore snakes is when you pull them through, they actually scrub the barrel and they squeegee it out all at the same time. There we go. So that's one pass. So I'm going to do probably 2 more passes real quick. And then 1 more. So that's going to be it for the brush attachment. Then all we want to do is put on our patch attachment. And then we're going to get a patch out. So we got a patch out. There's a special way to use these Otis patches, but I can't remember off the top of my head, so we're just going to throw it on. Then you're just going to run your bore snake through it again. Typically this is a lot faster when you don't have a camera in front of you, just so you guys know it won't take you this long. As you can see, this one's nice and white, so we only have to run it through 1 time, but if yours is dirty, you just want to keep running them through basically till your patch comes out clean. If it's coming out super dirty, hit it with the scrub brush again a couple times and then run your patch through. So that's everything for the barrel. Now I want to finish up on the slide. So I like to take sharp little Q-tips like this and just run these in all the nooks and crannies. As you can see, even though I keep my guns really clean, it's still got tons of dirt coming out. And I'm going to dry out the striker channel just to make sure the lube doesn't get down in there. Because like I said, you want to try to avoid that. Then I'm going to hit my breech face with it a little bit. Sorry about that, I had to grab a rag, and I also had to reshoot this because I forgot to put my mic on. So all we're going to do with the rag is we're going to grab our slide and basically just clean off any of the excess CLP that might be on the outside. So yeah, just wipe it off real good. And then same thing with the barrel. You just want to make sure you wipe off all the CLP on the barrel. So just scrub it off really good. And set that to the side. And then we're going to move on to the actual frame. So with Glock frames, they don't get really dirty unless you shoot thousands and thousands of rounds. Now if you do, then you might want to use a little CLP down in here. But for the average person that's only shooting a couple hundred, usually all I use is a little bit of rubbing alcohol on a Q-tip. And you just want to go around, and I like to clean off these little rail sections. I also like to clean where the trigger interface is right here. I like to clean down into my locking block, just like that. Same thing with the front rails. And then also down in here near the trigger, sometimes a little bit of carbon will build up in this pocket. And then down the magazine wall a little bit. So you just touch all that up a little bit. And then you want to go into lubing it. So what you want to do is you want to put 1 drop on each one of the rail sections. And then I usually rub those in with my finger. And then you want to take some of that excess and put on your trigger bar right here and right here. You don't need a lot. Glocks do not require a lot of lube. I like to put a little bit on the locking block right here. And then you want to put 2 drops in between the connector and the trigger bar right here. So put those drops in there. And that's going to be everything for your frame. We'll set that off to the side for now. And then we're going to grab the slide. So the slide doesn't need a lot of lube either. So what you're going to do is you're going to come in here. I like to drop a drop on the rail sections, each side, front and back, right here. I like to put 1 drop on the striker face and 1 drop on the striker safety. And then I like to put 2 drops right here where the barrel moves back and forth. So that's everything for the slide. As for the barrel, I like to put a little bit in between this lug. So put a drop here. I like to put a drop on the outside edge of the barrel, and then I usually rub it in. This just keeps it from scratching up a little bit. And then I usually put a little bit on top of the breech face too to keep it from scratching. And then you'll drop your barrel back in. If your recoil rod was super dirty, you can just scrub it down and spray it with CLP and then wipe it off. This one's still clean, so I don't have to do that. And then we'll push the recoil spring back in. Make sure it's locked in place. Then you want to take your slide and your frame. You want to slide everything back together and make sure everything's still functioning. Back the slide a couple times. Pull the trigger. And I like to check the trigger reset too. Alright, everything's working good. So that's going to be it for the Glock17 Gen 3 cleaning video, but this should also work for Gens 1 to 4, just so you guys know. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to meet you back up to the main camera and we'll say goodbye. Hello everyone, we're back. That's going to be it for the Glock17 Gen 3 cleaning video. If you enjoyed today's video, please give me a big thumbs up. And if you'd like to see what I have planned in the future, please hit the subscribe button. Now as for the question of the day, I took a little bit of time to really think about this because it was a hard decision for myself. What's your guys' favorite pistol / handgun ammo, or caliber size I should say? I like 9mm mostly because it's cheap and easy to shoot, but if I had an unlimited budget, I would definitely go with the 10mm. I love me a 10mm, guys. The thing's just powerful, has pretty good capacity, but let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I'm Biggie, I love you all, and I'll catch you next time on The King of Arms.